Hey everybody, welcome to the Olex Podcast. It's your girl Stacey St. Don't forget, before we talk about tonight's episode, before we talk about all the good things we have to come, Suits O'Neill is here.
Suits O'Neill.
If you have a house that's filled with cat pee, filled with garbage, stuff all over the lawn, extra couches outside, I want to buy it even if it's on fire, literally right now. Give me a call, 516-526-0881. We do no inspections, no appraisals, and we give cash, no obligation offers, and we close quick. Suits O'Neill would know firsthand, actually.
Suits O'Neill, that's awesome. That was a really good intro, by the way.
Thank you.
Yeah, that down to a science. You didn't even read off anything. That was really good.
Thank you. Guys, this is a very special episode. We have Dan O'Neill from Signature Premier here in person.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for coming. You traveled really far to come here.
It's an honor to be here.
I appreciate it.
Hopefully I don't get a ticket this time, but...
No, and you want to know what? It's on Olex if you do, okay? And before we talk about our guests, don't forget, if you need a podcast studio, you need a place to just sit and chill and get to know your friends and get away from the phone, you give Rob Martin a shout at directlivestreams.com because you only want the best and Rob Martin's got it. So listen, Dan.
Yes.
The Olex Podcast does a lot to try to inspire younger kids, okay? We mentor a couple of high school kids at the Lehman School in Manhattan. And across the board, the general idea is that kids are not getting enough anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? Did you know what a mortgage was when you left high school?
I found out what a mortgage was when I got into real estate. I had no idea. I didn't know how to write a check until like a year ago. I swear to God, I didn't really know anything. You know, nobody taught me how to run my bank account. Nobody told me what an S corp was. Nobody told me the difference, taxes, nothing. And I went to high school and I went to college and then I went to Adelphi for a month for grad school. And as I was telling you before, I left, but. So that's what, I don't know, 18 plus years of school, you know, and I didn't know how to write a check. It's insane.
That's crazy. So listen, how old are you now?
I just turned 27 in February.
God bless. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah, 6 months
right?
ago.
It's June. How do you feel being 27 and being as successful and public as you are?
Well, I appreciate that. You know, listen, I don't really feel like I'm anything public or, you know, as successful as I want to be.
Sure.
I definitely have started to notice now, like, not like, just being like, you know, in the public eye, you know, like on social media and stuff. Like I went to the Islander game the other night and like I tripped and fell and like somebody's like, oh, hey man, you all right? Like I follow you on Instagram.
Right.
Wow, that's insane, you know? But listen, I'm working really hard and I've been working really hard. People don't really see, you know, all the behind the scenes stuff. They just see like, you know, what's going on now, but they don't really see what, you know, it took for me to get to this point. So,
Sure.
You know, I'm just working really hard. I'm just keeping my head down and I love what I'm doing. And I'm happy to be able to inspire and come on here and talk to you and potentially inspire, you know, younger people or people in high school. And it's been really amazing that we've been able to help so many people so far, not even just like buying and selling real estate, but you know, just people joining the business, people that I grew up with that maybe, you know, wanted to go into different routes that I've tried to help, you know, in business related stuff. So
you take your friends with you.
Yeah, exactly. So
how many people do you have on your team now?
So now we have 14.
14?
14, yeah.
How long you been with Signature?
So we made the jump to Signature about a year ago.
And who were you with before?
Coldwell Banker.
Okay. And what year did you get into real estate?
So this is my fourth year. This will be my fourth year. So I got in, I think, 2019, 2018 maybe?
So tell everybody, what's the difference between, the first thing that pops out of your mind, you don't have to talk about all the differences, but what's the difference between the first year of real estate and where you are right now?
I mean, my first year in real estate was an absolute nightmare. You know, like I wanted to quit every single day. I was miserable.
Why? Tell us though, because that's important. I think that fatigue in the beginning of things is huge. I see it with my own cold calling team right now. They're like, F this, F that. Yeah. There's no deals. There's no deals. These leads suck. These phone numbers suck. You suck. This sucks. The CRM sucks. But it's like in the beginning, you know, you feel that it's almost like heartbreak in the beginning, right?
Oh my God, absolutely. And now like having the team with me, you know, mentoring some of them too, like they go through the same thing and I just try and tell them like, I wish I wrote it down. Like I wish I filmed it. I wish you knew what I went through because it's normal. Like you're going to experience failure. You're going to experience, you know, hardships in the beginning. So if I went back and looked at my first year, the first listing I ever had, I had to pay my little brothers and like all of his friends to come and like empty out the house with me. And it took us like Friday, Saturday, Sunday to do it. I had to sell a high ranch, right? So it's like 2 levels, you know. I couldn't get into the top level of the high ranch, so I could only get into the basement level.
What?
And I had to sell the house. You know, those are my first 2 listings right off the bat.
Did you go in the winter? What'd you do?
No, I don't know. I had just sold it. I don't remember. I blacked out. I don't know. So those are like my first 2 listings. Then I had like 3 deals die, and I had no money. I was like dead broke. I really couldn't like afford rent or anything. It's not like I couldn't ask my parents for help or anything, but you know, I was 24 years old. I didn't want,
You don't want to.
I didn't want to do that. So my back was really up against the wall. I was working in a restaurant at the time too when I first got my license. So I would work in real estate all day long, and then I would go to this restaurant. You couldn't have your phone on you. So I'm sitting here trying to, you know, make deals happen. I'm in the kitchen, like pulling my phone out of the bathroom. I got the old man chef like smacking my hand like to get off my phone. If you knew what my first year in real estate was like, it's nothing could faze me at this point.
So what did you do to keep yourself going though? Because listen, you know, I'm coming up on my 20-year anniversary of cold calling.
Wow, holy shit.
Yeah. It wasn't always in real estate. A huge amount of it was in bill collections. And you know, I still get like butterflies sometimes, and in person I still have a huge struggle with people. Like sometimes I have a good appointment and I can do well with industry peers. But sometimes with homeowners, I still feel like, oh, you know, like this in-person stuff is still difficult for me. What did you do?
I'm really surprised because you're super personable. Like you have a really bubbly personality. Like I'm shocked that you experience that, you know?
Not all homeowners care about that, especially the distressed ones.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I deal with a different clientele than you do.
No, I mean, I'd go on the same appointment, you know, similar appointments like that, you know, with Jeremiah and stuff like that. So I totally hear what you're saying.
What'd you do to kind of like keep the fatigue from wearing you down?
In the beginning or just like in general? In the beginning, I just really didn't have any other choice. You know, I hated the business that I was in, the restaurant business. I was treated really, really poorly, you know, working for somebody. I was like the GM or the manager of the restaurant. And it was really my only other option. You know, I knew I wanted to be like my own, you know, business owner. I wanted to be my own boss. So if I put the same 80, 90, 100 hours a week into real estate as opposed to the restaurant where I was making the same amount of money and not doing anything, not helping anybody, if I put that same energy, time, and effort into, you know, creating my own business, quote unquote, I knew I'd be successful. So I don't know. I kept just telling myself like, all right, you know, it's going to pay off. It's going to pay off. Give it, you know, another 2 months, give it another 3 months. And then finally, you know, I lined up a couple closings and I was able to just make it happen. And then the rest is history. But it wasn't easy and it wasn't fun, I'll tell you that much. I wasn't making these videos, you know, having fun and laughing.
Right. You know, I started with like the videos up front at the beginning of my heartache because I kind of wanted to like show people that like I know a lot of people that are not public at all that are like really effing up on flips and stuff like that. And they don't want to show because they're embarrassed. And I said, nah, you know, like somebody has to be willing to be vulnerable and show because you want to make other people feel less vulnerable. You know, I had a guest on recently. I didn't air the episode yet, but he said in private after the episode, I don't really want to tell people about what I was like before real estate because I'm afraid they're going to judge me.
Well, I mean, listen, I have the same thing. You know, I'm not proud of, you know, some of the stuff that I did when I was younger, but I'm glad that I got that experience and I'm glad I got it out of my system back then because now I'm a totally different person. And, you know, I'm not afraid to talk about that either. You know, it's just, My problem was like very synonymous with the restaurant industry. It's like you work, you know, 80, 100 hours a week and then you go out and you drink and it's kind of the same thing. You know, you're bartending until 3 a.m. You go out and you drink. So
you sleep for this long or you try to sleep for this long. You get up in the morning, you try to put on a good face and like, I'm not tired. And you're dying. Like
I was killing myself and I was drinking a lot. You know, after work, I was going out and doing a lot of stuff. So, you know, I'm not afraid to talk about it because if somebody hears this or hears what I have to say or my story, if it motivates them to go out and do something about it or change or motivates them to take action, then it's a win. You know, then it makes me feel like I'm doing what I'm here to do, you know.
Well, what made you, so like you were in real estate, you were in the restaurant business, but in talking about this, at some point you started making videos and you started showing yourself to the world. What made you make that transition? Well,
so I was the GM of a restaurant. I left the restaurant and I said, I'm getting my real estate license. And then the first like 6 months of me getting my license, I was just bartending at a random place, you know, just to try and pay my bills. Probably like the first 4 months maybe.
Okay.
But then finally I lined up enough closings where I was like, all right, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm just going right into real estate full time. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, I don't know what the hell I'm going to do. So what was the question? I'm sorry. I have
Suits
PTSD of the restaurant business. What was the question? I'm sorry.
What made you make the transition to start making a social media platform? I mean, you have beautifully done videos and you have very targeted content. So what made you make the transition to kind of like rip the Band-Aid off and be vulnerable to thousands of people?
So it was just really me being like 24 years old and me realizing, well, you know, there's Brian Karps on Long Island, there's Alina Lopes on Long Island, there's all these people. So how am I going to differentiate myself and be different? And how am I going to, you know, find my niche client and really get some of these listings or get business. And social media was just kind of what I landed on, and doing these funny videos, and I did a couple of them, and they took off, and then it just kind of was like, all right, well, we got to do another one.
Sure.
And then every listing that we would get, we would do one, and it would just go more and more viral, and our following grew and grew. But more than anything, it was just me like having fun, like really enjoying myself and being myself, and also marketing the house and marketing and branding.
Sure.
And just wanting to be different and do something that nobody else was doing at that time.
What's your favorite video that you've done so far? Because you got a lot of cute ones.
Yeah. My favorite video so far, that's a good question. The jet ski one's pretty good because we sold that house in like a day. The horse one's pretty funny.
The horse one's funny.
Because I never ridden a horse in my life.
You never rode a horse?
No, and I rented it too. Like I had to literally rent the horse on this woman's front lawn. So that was pretty funny.
Wait, I really like that. Now I have to go back and watch that again, knowing that.
Yeah. Oh my God. It took me 2 weeks to find a horse. And then they had to come there.
And then you were like, outtakes. So I've never been on a horse before.
Ever. And this thing is like, like bucking up, I guess, whatever it is. Like I had like a little helmet on and everything. It was crazy.
Why was it a little helmet?
To make it funny. I had a whole outfit. I scrapped the outfit at the last minute, but I had like a whole horse rider outfit. It was really or jockey outfit.
That kills me.
So I think those are some of them. And now some of the vlog stuff that we're putting out, because now we're taking like day in the life type stuff and some real interactions between showings or appointments and giving back and just stuff that I like to do. So now the vlogs are becoming some of my favorite content.
I think my favorite thing right now is the golf that you're playing with the gentleman at the golf club. I love that. You know what? Shout out to Charles Weinrab, but we joke in the office a little bit. Like I'm kind of like collecting grandparents right now because I meet people, homeowners, and I'm like, oh my God, I love this person. I'm afraid I'm going to lose touch with them once we buy their house and they move or whatever. And I'm having fun connecting with like an older generation of people now. Like what?
They're the best.
Right? Like, don't you feel like you're talking to people on those golf outings and like hearing things you don't hear anywhere else?
Yeah, I mean, I learned so much. It's networking. So that was really interesting. So that like golf video, I actually flew to Palm Springs, California, and I met up with the broke agent. He's one of the biggest, real estate accounts on Instagram. So I never met him in person before. So it was like a totally like last minute thing. We went there, we golfed, we had a really good time. We came up with some really good ideas. And so I just went there on a whim, and like I've never really traveled before, never done any of that. So that video was really funny. It's one of my favorites too. But it's just putting yourselves in kind of like an uncomfortable position, and then it's amazing who you can meet. And like you said, like even the older generation, like I love going on those appointments. People are like, guess what I bought this house for? How much? 30 grand?
30 grand.
Yeah, 25, and we bought the basement for $2 grand. It's like, holy crap! Can't even build a deck for that. You
can't even build a deck for that. You know what's so cool? My Red House project. I just learned, and I've had the house for months. I just learned that not only was it the first house finished to completion in Forest City, Wantagh, but it was the first occupied house in Forest City, and the original owner owned it up until me.
Wow.
So I bought literally an original Forest City house that only had one original owner.
That's really cool.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I think, Long Island has a lot of like untouched stuff or stuff that we take for granted, right?
Absolutely.
Why do you love selling real estate here?
I love selling real estate here because I grew up here, number one. Number two, it's not even necessarily just, Long Island. I think I just love selling real estate because of the interactions and because of, the wins, the daily wins, like all the trouble that we deal with, like you cold call every single day, right? 19 out of 20 people are probably telling you to go kick rocks, but that one person that doesn't, and you're able to help out, like that's the most rewarding feeling in the entire world. So, it's not even necessarily Long Island, and we are expanding to other areas too, but this is where I grew up. It means a lot to me to be able to be here and be successful. But it's just really the daily wins and being able to help people, buy or sell, or, even on the investment side, like people that maybe inherited a house or, they've had trouble paying their mortgage for a long time. They just need to get out, like, whatever it may be.
We've been trying to collaborate on a couple of those things, and we've had some interesting appointments.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
And we can do a whole nother episode on that.
Yeah.
But but no, it's just the daily wins and being able to help people. That's really the biggest joy, I guess, for me right now.
So I just finished a book, Atomic Habits.
Okay.
Have you ever read it?
No.
It's all about how it doesn't even matter if you have bad habits, but that this idea that if you just try to get 1% better every day, you will always be excelling in life. And a lot of your stuff that you talk about business-wise is very in line with the concepts in that book. You should definitely read it. But what is it that you think that you're doing correct 1% every day that's getting you to where you are now? Because the traction that you have is like, it's immense, like it has weight.
Yeah, thank you. I really think that it's just, no matter what I'm doing, it's always real estate related. It's always brand related. I'm really, really working very, very hard. Like I've really borderline killed myself. I've even experienced burnout, recently. But I've been working really, really hard. And I think that's what separates it. While people are out on the weekends and hanging out and, going to the beach or, drinking and doing stuff, like I'm doing 4 open houses, or, we're going on listing appointments, or we're shooting content. So I just think that it's really work ethic. And it's just, I think the other thing is being a good person. And in this business, unfortunately, throughout Long Island, there's some people that maybe haven't done the right thing, don't do the right thing by their clients, and are really just in it for like money. They see the money sign. So I think what I try to do to separate myself is, I surround myself with good people. I take it off the chin when necessary. And I'm just, I try to be a good person every single day. And, it's good for networking. It's good from agent to agent. It's good to your clients. And I think that's, a little bit of a difference maker too.
It's a huge difference maker. I find that, I've been in distress sales for a very long time. Olex hasn't been around very long, but I have 8 years experience before.
Right.
And there's a lack in my end of the market of teaching callers and salespeople to treat homeowners like you care about them, or actually care about them. Like it's a concept, like you should not pretend, you should actually care about those people. You should care about the interaction, and you should care about how you treat them. And often on my side, even like the house is in foreclosure, it has bankruptcy, there's divorce, there's tax liens, like the whole gamut. Like imagine the worst distressed house, and the homeowner feels like, how dare you call me? I'm not any of those things, and I'm not selling my home.
Right.
But on your end of the market, you have right now a different issue, I'm sure, because the market's on fire, whatever, insert flames here. You must have a lot of appointments where the homeowner's like, no, my house is worth $1 million.
Yeah, and I deal with that all the time. I just dealt with it. I went to an appointment in Massapequa when they told me that they thought their house was $150,000 more than what I had thought.
What did you do to even get past it?
I just sat down with them for over an hour, and I just, went over the comps and went over everything with them. And listen, at the end of the day, I'm not brand new in the business, and I told them flat out, like, it doesn't make sense for me to take the listing if it's, $150,000 over, what it should be at.
Right, because you'll just be running on a treadmill.
Right, you'll be running on a treadmill. You're going to be mad at me because I can't sell it, and meanwhile, it was just the price the whole time. So long story short, they listened to me, they priced it where I said it, and then they wound up getting like $50,000 over that price. So it was only really like $100,000 from what they thought the house was worth, but it was objective, like it wasn't really like a. But we're dealing with it every single day. That's just how the market is. People are reading Newsday every day. People are, they're seeing all these articles, and it's
Facebook group chats. I see on the Facebook group chats, like, I'm not going to name drop, but I see realtors saying, like, price the house high, price the house high. How important still in this market is pricing strategy?
Oh, I mean, it's the biggest thing. It really, like right now in this market, so back in the day, you have to actually like really, really, really sell the house. Now, if you kind of just price it right, you do some social media, you put it out there.
Don't undersell yourself.
I'm not understanding, but it's true though. I'm just being, I'm being honest, being real. But, back in the day, you had to really, really sell something. Now it's a little bit easier, but if you don't price it right, and if you just take a listing to take a listing, it's never going to sell. It's never going to go anywhere. And then the sellers are going to be mad at you. You're going to kind of look like a dummy because it's the craziest market of all, in the last decade, and you can't sell something. So it's so important. And I tell it to everybody. I tell it to people on my team too. I'm like, listen, it doesn't make sense to take a listing that's overpriced just because somebody's, emotions are involved. Sure. You have to put it out at the right number.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's reputation too.
It is
reputation. You don't want to get the reputation of Dan O'Neill's just taking listings to take listings. And, there was that example out in Southampton or wherever it was in the Hamptons where the woman wanted $25 million.
For her knockdown? For her knockdown.
For the knockdown. But the comps were like 15. I would love.
You're being so generous. I would have paid 8.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I would love a $25 million listing. But it's like you'd be the laughingstock.
Yeah.
So it's just very important that you price everything right, and that's really the biggest thing right now.
So shout out to Eric Braun's got brewery coming up.
Oh yeah.
All right. Networking. Mm-hmm. How important is it?
Oh, it's the most important.
Right?
For me, I got involved right from the beginning with YPN. So LIBOR YPN, I had Beth Lowe, Chris Backus, Mark Donnelly, Kyle Kelly. Like they all kind of took me under their wing. And, they got me involved in the Young Professionals Network. I won top 20 under 40 my first year, and then I was a director, and now I'm the treasurer for it. So I'm super excited for the direction that that's going in.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And but so that really like was my first taste of like the networking, and it's tough because we've been locked away for the last year,
Sure.
you know, and we haven't been able to network. But that's why social media is so important, because you kind of, although you do lose the, you know, person in-face interaction, you're still able to like interact and network via social media. It's insane.
It is insane. I was nobody a year ago. And while I've been in real estate a really long time, I think within like 45 days, I was able to grow my Facebook friends from like 600 people to 4,500.
Wow.
And
holy smokes.
Yeah. And
That's a lot.
I literally had 0 followers on Instagram, and now I have 1,400.
Wow.
And
That's really good.
It's only because of COVID. And it's like I was in the house and I was like, you know what? I got the phone, I got the computer, I got a webcam, I got that house down the block, God damn it. Because I live on the same block as the Red House. And I was like, you know what else?
Oh my God, I've heard about this.
What?
Now I know what the Red House. Now I just
Oh
put
my
two and
God,
two
we've
together.
had so many problems with the Red
Yeah.
House.
Now I put two and two together.
Yo, shout out to Captain Permit though, because my survey is in. I have no
Nice.
objections from the town.
Let's go.
We are gonna build a house.
Let's
okay?
go.
I'm so excited. And we're gonna have the biggest food truck party at the end of this. I don't even care if I sell the house tomorrow. Party is still
That's
happening.
funny. Hell yeah, I'll be there.
Yeah. So let's talk about a little bit personal development. You know, we know you sold a ton of homes. You've helped a ton of families. How many families have you helped at this point?
I don't even.
Are you at 500 yet, or
No, probably a little bit less.
a little bit less, right? You're over 400 though
Yeah,
at this
definitely.
point, though, right?
Yeah.
Because a couple of years ago you were at like 200. I saw.
Yeah.
I did a little Dan O'Neill homework.
Thank you.
All right. So,
Honestly, I don't even know where it is at this point.
well, you should know your numbers.
But you know what? I don't pay attention to it, because as long as I'm doing what I'm doing every single day, I know that the numbers are going to continue to grow. And I don't even look at it as like a transaction thing. I just look at it, you know, how many people we're able to help and the philanthropy that we're able to do, and my team. You know, like it makes me happier now when my team's the members of my team do well and succeed.
Yeah, you're
than like
helping
my
other
own
people.
Yeah, and then like my own deals. You know, so I don't even really like. I had to look it up how much like the volume we did last year for another podcast today, because I had no idea.
You know what? Side note, it's really interesting, like how successful you are in your career, and it's still hard to grow grass.
Yeah, I can't grow. Oh my God, you see the pool? The pool's even worse.
What do you mean?
Oh my God, my pool was green for like 3 weeks. Couldn't figure it out.
Wait, didn't you just get the pool?
No. So I had the pool.
okay.
I did all the work around it. But yeah, I can't grow grass. I can't maintain a pool. I can't change a light bulb. But, you know, there's things that I'm good at. There's things that I'm not good at.
You're like basically Jewish.
my dad, I think my dad's like a quarter Jewish. Yeah, so I think I am. Yeah.
All right. No wonder you're part of our little tribe.
That's awesome. That's funny.
So, rewind back to personal development. You like to read books?
I do not.
You do not like to read books.
No.
Are there podcasts that you like?
Yes.
Who have you listened to, and what's like your favorite, like educational content wise?
I would probably say Tom Ferry. Tom Ferry and Jared James.
Tom Ferry's my favorite.
Yeah, it's just, you know, I'm able to relate to them. And no matter who they have on their episode, it's always educational. You could always learn something, whether it's an agent out in California, whether it's an agent in, you know, Louisiana. Doesn't matter. You can still learn something. So for me, when I'm driving around, that's what I love to listen to, because it just keeps me constantly up to date and educated, and it keeps me confident, you know, because the more educated that you are, the more confident, you know, that you become. So those are really my favorite. I don't know why. I've just never really been like a big reader.
I don't read very well. I'm forcing myself now, but I find it hard to like retain.
You know what? I will literally sit there and read a book, and I will go through like 30, 40 pages, and I'll be like, yeah, I've like blacked out. I'm like, I don't remember one thing that I just read. The last book that I read was Ryan Serhant's. You know, he came on the podcast.
I just bought it.
He sent me Big Money Energy. That book was really, really, really good, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But I just don't know other books that like I can really like get into and actually retain. But I read that book in like a day.
I'm gonna send you Atomic Habits. It's a very easy read.
I will.
Super easy read.
All right, I need
it's
that.
like reading a magazine.
Okay.
It's for
Is it a
dummies
picture
like
book?
us.
Is it a picture
There's
book?
pictures.
That's good. All right.
Actually, if you open it, there's just like a pretty woman that comes out and reads it to you.
That's better. Oh, hell yeah.
So, what do you do outside of real estate to kind of like mind, body, and soul's important part of the business, right? If you're drinking all weekend, if you're not sleeping, if you're not exercising, the business is gonna suck, right? So, what is it that you do to keep yourself in check?
So, I've really struggled with this like the last 3 years, and especially this last year. I got really burnt out. You know, I was really driving myself nuts. So this year, my goal was to kind of try and leverage my time a little bit better and to try and give myself a little bit of a break, because the way that I was going, like I would have been bald, miserable, like, you know, I would not.
You still got a lot of hair.
Thank you. We'll see. I don't know about 30, but you know, that was really my like main goal for this year. Not even the transactions, not even the volume, was just to give myself a little bit of a break. And so right now, I'm working on it. It's a work in progress. Like I said, I'm 27 years old. You know, I make mistakes all the time.
Sure.
But my biggest thing is just trying to give myself a little bit of a break. So I finally brought people in that are helping with that, you know, assistants, transaction coordinators.
Delegation's really important.
Yeah, and learning how to let go too, like, you know, let up of control a little bit.
Yeah, I can't do it.
Me neither, and I'm working on it, and that's kind of what they talk about in Big Money Energy too, is, you know, leveraging your time and finding people that can then help you and make your time, you know, more valuable and worth more money in theory. So that's what I've been just trying to do. And right now, you know, I like to golf, but I can't really get away to golf because my phone's blowing up the whole time. So I'm hoping that when my backyard is done and my pool is blue, that maybe I can, you know, that'll be my new like getaway. You know, I can maybe relax a little bit. But it's a work in progress.
How important is shutting off the phone every now and then? Like right now, like look, like, you know, Eric was my first episode this season. Yeah. And Eric said during the episode, he was like, isn't it nice just like sitting here and getting to know each other and like putting the phone away? Like, how important is it outside of this to make sure that you do that for yourself?
I mean, I think it's incredibly important, and I'll be the first one to admit, like, I can't do it. You know, like, it's the only reason it's down right now. I mean, of course, we're doing this, but I also don't have service, so that kind of helps. But no, I'm really bad with it. It's a really bad habit. You know, my family's, you know, commented on it. My girlfriend hates it. But listen, you know what? At the end of the day, if people are calling you and texting you, like, you know, we're in the business where you have to respond. You have to get back to them. So that's another thing that I'm definitely going to be working on, is just trying to put it down for a little bit. Or, you know, it all ties into itself. You know, giving yourself a little bit of a break and relaxation and putting the phone down. I know agents that they're like, listen, 7:30 at night, my phone's down. I'm not answering anybody. You know, I'm having fun. I'm relaxing. I'm doing whatever. And eventually, you know, I will get to that point. But right now, it's just like it's not even feasible.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in a building phase as well.
Yeah.
And if somebody calls me at 3 a.m. and wants to talk about the price of their home, I might be salty about it. But I mean,
you're picking it up, yeah.
I'm picking it up.
Me too. I'm the same way. I have people that text me at 11 o'clock at night, 11:30, you know, and
then you're like,
yeah. But exactly. But my fear was always that, and it's really an irrational fear, that if I didn't answer them right then and there, if I didn't get back to them,
they'd be gone forever.
You know, they'd go somewhere else and somebody else would answer. So I've just always had that mentality since day one, because I didn't grow up with a ton. You know, I didn't really, everything that I have now and the success and whatever it might be, and being able to help these families, it's really the biggest reward. So like, I don't really take it for granted. And that's why, like, you know, if somebody needs me 8 o'clock at night, yeah, you know what, probably not getting anything done at, you know, 8 or 9 o'clock, but maybe if I can send them a message back that'll, like, you know, calm them down or give them an update or whatever it might be, at least it puts them at peace. And, you know, that's ultimately what makes me happy, is making the clients happy. So,
you know what, I think we're going to give another shout out, and we're going to shout out to Mike Totino, who said that, and he said it to me. He actually like called me and was like, listen, like, you need to prioritize your personal time. Like, it's equally as important as the work time.
Yeah.
Because every time he would call me, I'd be working. I can't come to dinner. I can't do this. I can't. I don't even have time for networking. Leave me alone. Like, I can't. And he would be like, bro, like, go get an ice cream cone. Like, why don't you sit down? Like, take a bike ride. Like, do something other than social media and work. And I have to remind myself, you know, because you mentioned, you're like, you know, it affects my girlfriend and all of this stuff. Like, how do you manage that, like, very important and delicate personal relationship?
I mean, I would be lying if I was, you know, said that I am doing a good job with it. So like a month ago, so I talked to Mike about it all the time too.
You just got so many points for like having humility. You're going to go home and she's going to be like, oh.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So like a month ago, like, and it's like even like the little things, like I just took so for granted. Like I got a car wash the other day, like for the first time in, you know, 6 months. Like I used to have people come to my house like first thing in the morning, wash my car. So I, you know, because I didn't have time to stop and go get one. So I'm like, holy crap, I got a car wash today. Like that was kind of nice. Like it was almost like therapeutic. And then I went to my mom's house. You know, I had an appointment like locally, so I stopped at her house and I took her dogs for a walk. And I'm like, holy crap! Like this is, I'm
enjoying myself.
Yeah, like, you know. But it was like these little short, like little glimpses. So it's those moments. Like I went to the Islander game the other night. That was one of the best experiences of my life. So I was able to.
That place was about to explode.
It was insane. But so like getting to do like those types of things, like that's what I'm really trying to work on for this year, and you know, maintaining the personal relationships. Like, listen, at the end of the day, people have to understand that we're busy. Like, this is what, you know, if you're dating somebody in this business, like, that's kind of what you're signing up for.
Sure.
Your family, you know, needs to understand. My family does, as much as they hate it, they understand. And there's going to be a point in time when like I don't have to be like this, you know. I'm working for that. I'd rather get it out of the way now so that way down the line, you know, maybe I can put the phone down, or maybe I can delegate stuff, or maybe I can, you know, get a car wash, you know.
Do you think you're lying to yourself?
Yeah, probably. And my dad, my father's been through, you know, 2 divorces, and mainly because he was a pretty bad workaholic. So I think I have a little bit of that gene in me, you know, if that makes sense.
100%.
And, you know, it's always been that way since I was in the restaurant business and now. But I recognize it, and like I see it, you know, and I don't like the fact that my mom says, oh, you know, put your phone down. So I'm going to get there.
So
I made a promise to myself, so I will.
So I'm just going to. I'm nowhere near as successful as you. I'm going to be 38 in a few weeks. I'm older than you, and I have 2 kids. And
God bless, amen.
Thank you. But I'm just going to give you a peek into being in denial about how you're going to be able to put the phone down in the future. My sons are 6 and 4.
He's the fastest kid I've ever seen in my life.
Oh, Wheels St. John.
Yeah.
That's Wheels St. John.
That kid's going to literally be a track star or
He's
like an
on
NFL.
track, and the coach is like, this is the fastest kid in Levittown.
I couldn't believe it. I watched that Instagram story like 3 times today. Kid's literally like happy feet.
If he would just keep his face forward, though, he's like looking at his competition. Eye on the prize, kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, bring me back. Damn.
Oh yeah, being in denial.
Yeah. So my son very often will say, "Mommy walks around with her phone all day. Mommy talks on the phone for a living." And it sucks. It's necessary because I'm in a building phase, and I have to explain to him. And I purposely like bring them to houses and involve them in the business because I don't want them to feel like they're alienated by this.
Yeah.
But the future doesn't get easier the more successful you get.
Yeah.
And you have to do the Mike Totino thing and be like, it's personal time for the next 90 minutes.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'm throwing stones in a glass house. I'm bad at it. But together, we're going to get better at it so that we don't have a shitty future.
Oh, absolutely. I'm telling you, I made it a promise to myself. Like last year, I would never have gone to the Islander game. I would never have done any of this stuff. I would never have gone to Palm Springs and golfed. That's insane.
Yeah,
Are you kidding me?
cool.
You know, like, so I'm working on it. And it's, you know, even if it's something that you do every once in a couple months, or even if it's just going to be me in my pool, like listening to reggae music, you know, whatever it might be.
You have your own oasis now.
Exactly. And that's part of the reason why I did that too. So we'll see. But I made a promise to myself. So typically when I do that, you know, it's going to happen.
So we'll
get there.
You are going to get there.
Thank you.
Let's bring it together.
Yes.
What are the 1-year, 5-year, and long-term goals for Dan O'Neill? How many suits are you going to buy in the next year?
Oh my God! If you saw a picture of my closet.
Well, now if you don't give me the picture of the organized suits, now I feel gypped.
I have OCD bad too. Like, when I get home, I'll send you a picture of the closet.
I need it. Yes.
You'll laugh. So 1-year plan is just to continue growing the team, continue to having them, you know, succeed. I'm so incredibly proud of all of them individually for how well they're all doing. It's mind blowing.
They are really like making headlines almost.
And it's like the most rewarding feeling in the entire world. So for this year, I want to be the #1 team on Long Island. I want to see all my team members succeed. 5 years, I don't really know right now, but I do know that we are going to be expanding probably to the Carolinas, to Florida, into the city, Hampton, stuff like that. And, you know, where it goes from there, I don't know. But right now I'm just focused on, you know, finishing out this year strong, working on some more philanthropy, and trying to do as much as we possibly can to motivate, inspire, and help as many families as we can.
I'm super excited about maybe getting to hybrid some stuff with you this year. Also, you know, I always talk about hybrid wholesaling. It's huge in other states.
Yeah.
And it's not that big here because I feel like the MLS can be a little funky with things and contract vendees and stuff. But, you know, I'm super excited to kind of give you stuff that's maybe closer out by you, and, you know, you be like my Suffolk plug.
Hell yeah.
I'm really excited.
Suffolk plug.
Yeah, the plug. I'm super excited about it. Listen, if somebody wants to buy or sell a house, who are they going to call?
Hopefully me.
We'll give them the number.
Yeah, 631-384-8611. And our social media is my name, Dan O'Neill _. And yeah.
Thank you so much for coming.
Wait, we didn't talk about the high school stuff.
No, yes we did.
Oh, did we?
Yes, we did. We talked about what you did to get to your present.
Okay.
You are not the host of this show.
No, I know, but I wanted to say something because I know there's going to be a lot of people listening.
Yeah, go for it.
So we said that, you know, they're not really that educated, or they're not learning the right stuff, right? So if I were to do this all over again and go, you know, I went to school, I played baseball, I went to Adelphi, whatever, I would have not even have gone to college. I would have just went straight into probably, being an entrepreneur and getting into business. Because at the end of the day, I didn't learn anything other than just like how to survive, how to like cook on my own,
How to pay tuition.
And it was kind of a waste of money because that piece of paper, you don't need that anymore. Now it's right here. So it's incredible how smart these kids are now too, like coming out of high school. My little brother's like 16 years old. The kid has like a $250,000 follower Instagram account where he makes money off it. He's 16. And my 14-year-old brother like builds computers. I can't even make my pool blue. I can't even get my grass green. The kid's building computers at 14. So my biggest thing is
you're selling a lot of houses though.
Yes, but for them to be that smart, my advice is just do something that you love and don't be afraid to fail. Like if you are 18, you're 19, you're 20 years old, you just try something out that you love. You have plenty of time. Like you have so much time to figure it out. And I was always so worried about like, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? What's my future? And I wish I, got out of my own head and just did it sooner,
Not only that, but, I'm glad you kind of brought me back to talk about this stuff because I always forget to say to people that you also can't be afraid to tell people, like, I don't know shit.
Yeah.
Like, you know something, I would really like to learn it. Could you please help me? Like, I think that when I look back at my own college career, it was totally geared towards being a lawyer, and I didn't wind up going in that direction. And I learned how to pay a bill, and I learned how to commute to Queens, and I learned how to park in Flushing. Like,
those are valuable life lessons for $40,000 a year.
Ridiculous, But if you could go to somebody and say, "Listen, like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, can you please help me?" And I think that having that humility and being able to show I'm vulnerable, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a huge part of this business in particular, and it's part of the networking.
That's why the grass thing, like, it's a joke, but you'd be amazed by how many people have like texted me, like they DM me like every day. It's like my shtick now. It's like I can't grow my grass, but I ask for help and things. Listen, I'm still learning every day, and we all are going to learn every single day, whether it's real estate, life, whatever it might be. So I'm never afraid to ask somebody. Like I'll call Brian Karp, like, how do you handle this, man? Like, how do you deal with this? How do you get away? Stuff like that. And he answers, every single time. And you can't be afraid to ask for help. And especially from people that you look up to or you admire, people that are successful and that you want to be like, or you want to have similar success. Like, you have to be able to ask them for help.
Not only that, but I think that us particular and all the people that we know, we are particularly blessed with some of the smartest people ever to be in this industry. Not only smart, but most giving people that have ever been in this industry.
Agreed.
I feel very blessed. I worked in Brooklyn for so long, and it's just not like that. Like people like, go get your own education. It's not it's not a simpatico thing. Out here, like, changed my life very much. I mean, Olex wouldn't be what it is if I had started out there, I think. I think the community that is here is unmatched, and I feel super blessed about it.
I think you would have been successful no matter what you did.
Oh, I appreciate you saying that. But we are only as good as the company we keep.
Yeah,
and
amen.
I keep some damn good company now.
Hell yeah.
So do you.
Hell yeah. Yeah.
Listen, I can't thank you enough for coming on this episode. I really appreciate it. You guys. This has been the Olex Properties Podcast. Thank you for anyone who attended the live. If you need a podcast studio, you hit up Rob Martin. We are out. Don't forget to hit up Suits O'Neill and tell him how much you like his suit every time he wears a new one, guys, from now until the rest of the time. We're out. Have a good night, everyone.
Thank you for having me.